Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Before we start, I have a very important question to ask you. So please leave a comment letting me know if you consider a film like what we're gonna see today, Beast, to be a feature creature, possibly for an upcoming video. I'm going back and forth between, is this a creature feature or not? Is a creature feature considered a domestic animal or is it considered a monster? Because the definition I really like for this is a movie that focuses on one or more characters struggling to survive attacks by one or more antagonistic monsters. So I don't know if it's like a creature feature is a monster first or is a creature feature just any creature that is featured. But I do think it has to be the main plot device. It needs to be about this monster or creature coming after them. But that's the thing, a creature can be a domestic animal, you know? But then we cross a line of like humans can be creatures, humans are creatures. So yeah, let me know down below. I'm dying to know. And if you haven't seen this film and you don't know anything about it, if like a film like this, such as Cujo, where there is an animal that is not fantastical, is part of the creature feature definition. Let me know down below. I'm dying to know. I honestly don't think that there's any wrong or right answer. I just really love hearing about how people define subgenres. It's really interesting. Anyway, today we're seeing Beast, and I honestly did not know anything about this film. I know it came out last week in America, but it's just coming out this Thursday in Australia. I didn't know anything until I was invited to the premiere tonight, and I looked at the blurb and I'm like, I am in. Idris Elba fighting for his life with his family. Love it. Yeah, I'm all about this. The 2022 adventure drama horror thriller stars Idris Elba as a father who must protect his two children when they are hunted by a massive lion that has gone rogue, proving that the savannah has one apex predator. Honestly, I'm not expecting too much for this film. I think it's just gonna be a, I wouldn't say fun, but exhilarating watch. And I did ask if you all wanted to see a video on this because I wasn't sure. I know it does fall into horror. It does say, that's the marketing, but I did ask on my community tab, so make sure you subscribe so you see these polls. And yeah, obviously it speaks for itself. You're very keen to see what I think. But I saw a lot of comments on there telling me what you thought about the film already. And some of you said you were confused by the ending. I don't know what that means. Well, we're gonna keep it spoiler free. If there are any spoiler thoughts that I need to add because of this troubling I don't know. I just didn't expect someone to say that this wasn't straightforward. Does it dip into surrealism? I don't know how it wouldn't be straightforward. But if I do have any spoilers, I'll leave them in a description box so they'll be completely hidden. So this will be completely spoiler free for people who want to know whether it's worth taking the trip to the cinema. I'm going with my partner tonight and he does not like horror movies, but this is like in the middle because we both love Idris Elba. So I'm very excited to see this one and just have some fun with you all. And for those asking, Bodies, I hate saying it 3 times, is not out here yet. It will be out in September, and because we're getting it a little bit later, I probably will do a spoiler come with me for that. But for today, we're doing spoiler free and we're just going to get into this creature feature or not and see if it's worth your time and your money and if it's thrilling and if it's confusing. I want to see. Let's go check it out. Hi friends, I just got finished watching Beast, which actually, you know what? I don't think that this film is appropriately named at all. I just don't think that the name fits the film. Saying Beast just does not seem right. Anyway, I did get finished watching Beast and I'll let you know right now, it is a very straightforward movie. The first thing I did after watching it was look for the DM where I got from someone talking about how the film was confusing and they wanted me to do a spoiler a spoiler chat. There is nothing to spoil. I'm not going to put anything down below because you see it, you see it. You know it. Like there's literally how it plays out. Even if you missed some of the foreshadowing or like information they give you, they recap it at the end. So I'm still waiting for that person to get back to me and let me know what they were meaning by that. But the film is very straightforward, and I did kind of see some of the trailer on social media, but I still felt like it was an enjoyable experience, and it definitely, even though it is very straightforward, obviously what's happening is very straightforward compared to a lot of films I've seen recently, I still feel like it's curious where the film is going, if that makes sense. It's just like a one-dimensional film, but it has some curious turning points. So the film follows a man and his two daughters who go to South Africa to go visit a friend. They have a backstory about the mother of the kids and his ex-wife, and that kind of like weaves into some of the conflict between the characters, but I feel like that's never fully kind of uncovered. There are some parts where it shows cracks in the relationship, but I feel like it wasn't really fully fleshed out, those characters, and they really could have gone a little bit deeper in it or just used it in a different way, and I felt like it was another layer they were trying to like add afterwards, or just trying to do it so it's more cliche and hits more of a, I guess, a wider demographic. And yeah, it just didn't feel fully thought out or as carefully touched on as it could have been. I don't know. I feel like there was more to explore there, and it was like a little bit, there was some shady things going on between him and the guy that they go to visit, that I felt like there was more to the conversation that just wasn't said, and I don't know whether it was cut or just if it feels like that part of the story was like an afterthought and they kind of sprinkled bits in here and there of conflict and dialogue between the characters. Anyway, so they go to South Africa and then they go out to see some lions, and then of course they get themselves in quite a predicament. So I also saw a comment on when I did the polls for this, talking about how they didn't want to support this film because it promotes like poaching, which is so bizarre because this film, it couldn't be more opposite. And I understand your concern, but honestly, this could not be any more against that. The film centers around the idea of poachers and what they're doing to the wildlife there, and it makes a very strong message. So don't worry. It's not like Cujo where it's like, you know, all Saint Bernards, he's a Saint Bernard, right? All Saint Bernards are, you know, full of rabies. It's not like one of those films where it completely drastically drops the amount of a breed or pedigree that people are going out to buy, especially not lions in this case. But this film is never going to promote anyone to go to South Africa and do any poaching. Like, it's far from that. If anything, it promotes the dangers. The film is, of course, very thrilling. A lot of gore, a lot of gore. Like, if you see this on the big screen, which I will recommend, I don't think it's worth even watching at home. The film is enjoyable, but only with a bunch of friends, kind of like a chill out movie. I know people probably wouldn't see it as chill out, but I guess because we are into kind of layered cinema and layered horror, I feel like this was just like one-dimensional, as I've said before, and just really easy watching. Even though it's thrilling, it kind of makes you forget your day and really get into the characters in a way that you can just let your brain kind of take a back seat and you can just enjoy the ride. But it was quite thrilling. I was jumping all over the jump scares, or not really jump scares, but yeah, it is literally a jump scare when a lion jumps out, you know what I mean? Like, that is, I guess that's a jump scare. It really got me, and it made me think about how this film would be in 3D. I think it would be fantastic in 3D. But yeah, I mean, the drama was a little bit meh. The logic behind it is a whole other story though. So I'm not talking about the logistics and how it happened, because I mean, you have to suspend your belief with a lot of this kind of, I know going and seeing a movie where there was going to be, you know, lion attacks and things like that, you're going to have to suspend your belief a little bit. And you do with all horror movies, to be fair. But the choices that people make, I'm really not going to debate if this is a horror movie or not. Like, we're past that conversation at this point. But one thing you have to admit is that this film has so many hallmark horror movie bad decisions that a family makes. You hear a sound in the distance, maybe a roar, go straight towards it. So many choices they made. I just could not believe that they would make it. So yeah, it is one of those films that don't expect to go in there and be like, oh my God, you're so smart, I can't believe you did that. It's not really like that at all. You definitely have to suspend your belief with that, because there's a whole lot of stuff that makes no sense in that regard. But again, my brain is taking a back seat and I'm just enjoying it and eating I ate Maltesers, but you know, your popcorn, you're having your popcorn horror. One thing that I felt was really interesting about the film was how claustrophobic I felt, even though we saw it on quite a large screen at the cinema. There was a lot of shots where you're kind of trailing behind someone as they're like running through a section of a village, a part of like the savannah, and you're really close to their back, but you're getting this weird kind of like cut off midsection where it's like cutting off their head. I know this is really particular. They're cutting off their head and it feels like you're like right about to slam into them. It got me really like wired and like it was quite thrilling, but you're really jolting because you're so close to them. It felt very claustrophobic and almost a little bit like shaky. Like I felt a little bit ill. I know they're just following the actor, but it really did feel like handycam at some point. And yeah, it gave me not completely motion sickness. And I do think that it was part of like the thrilling journey and in action sequences, part of those jolts and stuff. It is very exciting, but I felt like I was really close up. And in a place like Africa, South Africa, where, you know, it's meant to be wide landscapes and, you know, where these lines are, they're on these like, you know, these rocks and they have this immense space to occupy. It felt like you were this close to someone at all times. But I guess that's like the whole point of the film. It's kind of strategic because you're meant to feel like you're trapped in this situation with this family. Acting wise, Idris, I mean, you cannot fault the guy. But the older girl, she was fantastic. The younger girl, I don't know. I feel so bad saying this, but there was times where they were like focused on her in the van or in the car, and she looked like she was like meant to be crying or really shaken up in those moments. And I swear I saw a smirk or two. I swear I saw it. And yeah, so again, take a backseat. But overall, I feel like the sequences and like the thrilling ride of it all was quite fun. I don't know, I really enjoyed this. And I don't know if it's because it's a Tuesday night and I was just looking for something easy to watch, but it definitely scratched that itch for me. It's by no means a film I would recommend to everyone or tell you to even run out and go see. I don't think you should run out and go see this film. But I think if you're looking for a film, you're like really wound up by work, and you're looking for a film to just go out and chill and even watch alone, like this is a film you can get that fun release. You don't have to think too much about it. It's very simple, very easy to follow. And if you lose or like forget anything or don't catch a line of dialogue, don't worry, they'll explain it all to you at the end. So it is just a really easy ride and quite thrilling at that. I have to say, I was jumping all over the place. And the CGI, it's a little bit wonky, I'm not gonna lie, but I think all CGI is gonna be like that to a point. Like, we're quite close to making things look very realistic, and I always think when I see films like this, you know, if this was made in the 70s, people would be like losing their minds. So I think it's all like relative and you kind of just have to, I don't know, you have to let it go a little bit. But you do think when you choose a subject matter like lions, you better hope that they have that down packed. And it's not exact. And I guess when you see it on the big screen, it's very, it's more noticeable when you can see things were not exactly happening to real people, or I don't know, you can just tell when it's fake. I don't know, I still let it go because it was in the moment and it was just a thrilling ride. I really was thrilled by this film. You should have seen me. I jumped at like 3 points. I'm gonna give this film a 6 out of 10. I think it's a little bit above average. Don't think it's great, but I do think it is worth it if you're looking for something just fun and exciting and that you just don't have to think about. You can just chill and watch it and hopefully enjoy yourself. If you're looking for something fun to see as a group of friends, this is a good movie for that. And if you're looking maybe for a first date film, this would be great for that, depending if you want to like talk to your date about the film afterwards. But it's just a fun, really lighthearted. It's definitely not lighthearted at all, like people being torn to shreds by lions. This is what my channel has become. I don't know, I just found it to be like an easy watch. Definitely very gory though, so don't take anyone who gets like grossed out by blood or anything like that. You don't see the like intense inners of the wounds, but you're all around them, you know. There's a lot going on, and when the lions like latch on, they like latch on, and I mean, it's thrilling, isn't it? For originality, I'm going to give it a 5. I believe this is a pretty straightforward idea. Nothing too new. I don't know. I'm sure there have been other Lion movies. I don't know. It was a cool angle, and I'm glad that they talked about poaching and all that kind of stuff. So it was interesting in that regard, but nothing new by any means. And for scare, I'm actually going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it a 7. Because it is disgusting. Like, the gore is a lot, and I was jumping, I have to say. But again, scares all relative, depends on the person, but I do think it's like quite intense. But I do think it is a film that you need to watch in the cinema for it to have that effect on you. If you watch this at home on the TV, it wouldn't be the same. But having surround sound and having those things just jump out and you're just not even, yeah, I was not prepared. So I do think that would have the full effect only at the cinema. I think watching it at home would definitely be a 5, because as soon as you're taken out of that surround sound kind of situation, the threat becomes very small. And you have to suspend your belief anyway. So there's a lot at play of you focusing or hyper-focusing on every detail and every beat of this film in a fun way. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed going out and seeing this, so thank you so much for voting for it, because I had a really nice time and I feel like I had a chill with me in this video, even though we went to the cinema, so I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much. If you're not subscribed, I'd love to have you here. I have another Come With Me coming up. I'm actually seeing another film tomorrow night. Can you guess what it is? And that one is pure horror, so that's exciting. If you're not following me on Instagram, I'd love to have you over there, and I'm also on TikTok, and I will see you very soon for another one. Let me know if you've seen Beast down below and what you thought of it. Stay safe and stay spooky. Bye, friends.